Remember when shopping meant physically going to a store, browsing through aisles, and interacting with actual human beings? While e-commerce has revolutionized how we shop, there's something nostalgic about the brick-and-mortar stores that once dominated our malls and shopping centers. Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane to explore 15 once thriving brick-and-mortar retail chains that have completely disappeared from the American landscape. These weren't just stores, they were cultural institutions where we spent our weekends, celebrated milestones, and formed memories. Their empty storefronts tell a story about changing consumer habits, economic shifts, and in some cases, catastrophic business decisions that led to their downfall. Let's start with Borders Books, once the second largest bookstore chain in the United States. Founded in 1971 by brothers Tom and Louis Borders, it grew from a small used bookstore in Ann Arbor, Michigan, to over 500 superstores nationwide. What made Borders special was its atmosphere. The comfortable chairs, the coffee shops, and the knowledgeable staff who genuinely loved books. It was a place where you could spend hours browsing through shelves, discovering new authors, or attending book signings and readings, but Borders made a critical mistake in the early 2000s. While Amazon was revolutionizing online book sales, Borders outsourced its online operations to Amazon.com in 2001. This decision essentially handed their digital customers to their biggest competitor. By the time Borders launched its own website in 2008, it was too late. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2011, and by September of that year, all Borders stores had closed their doors forever. The rise of e-books, online shopping, and their late adaptation to digital trends sealed their fate. Next up is Circuit City, once the second largest electronics retailer in the United States. Founded in 1949 as Ward's Company, it rebranded to Circuit City in 1984 and expanded rapidly throughout the 80s and 90s. Their red and white storefronts were fixtures in shopping centers across America, selling everything from televisions and stereos to computers and video games. What set Circuit City apart was their plug-and-play setup services and knowledgeable sales staff who worked on commission. However, a series of missteps led to their downfall. In 2007, they fired 3,400 of their highest-paid employees to cut costs, replacing them with less experienced workers. This decimated their customer service reputation. Meanwhile, competitors like Best Buy were offering better in-store experiences and more competitive prices. The 2008 financial crisis delivered the final blow, and Circuit City liquidated all its stores by March 2009. The brand briefly attempted a comeback as an online-only retailer, but never regained its former glory. Blockbuster Video is perhaps the most iconic example of a business that failed to adapt to changing technology. At its peak in the early 2000s, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores worldwide and was a Friday night staple for millions of families. The ritual of browsing through aisles of VHS tapes and later DVDs, debating what to watch, and stocking up on popcorn and candy was a cultural phenomenon. Their Be Kind, Rewind policy and late fees were both loved and hated by customers. In 2000, Netflix founders approached Blockbuster with an offer to sell their company for $50 million. Blockbuster declined, a decision that would go down as one of the worst business moves in history. As Netflix grew and streaming technology advanced, Blockbuster clung to its brick-and-mortar model. By the time they launched their own DVD by mail service and eliminated late fees, it was too little, too late. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010, and today only one store remains in Bend, Oregon, a nostalgic tourist attraction rather than a viable business. Toys R Us was more than just a toy store. It was a magical wonderland for children. Founded in 1957 by Charles Lazarus, the chain grew to become the leading toy retailer in the US and internationally. Their mascot, Jeffrey the Giraffe, and their catchy jingle, "I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid," are embedded in the memories of generations of Americans. The stores were massive, featuring endless aisles of toys, bikes, video games, and baby products. The company's downfall wasn't simply due to competition from Amazon or Walmart. In 2005, Toys R Us was purchased in a leveraged buyout by private equity firms that loaded the company with $5 billion in debt. This debt burden made it impossible for the retailer to invest in improving its stores or online presence. After years of struggling to pay just the interest on its debt, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy in 2017 and liquidated all its U.S. stores in 2018. While the brand has attempted a small comeback with a few new stores and an online presence, it's a shadow of its former self. RadioShack was once the go-to destination for electronics components, gadgets, and technology. Founded in 1921, RadioShack grew to over 7,000 stores at its peak. What made RadioShack unique was its focus on the DIY electronics enthusiast. It was where you could find obscure parts, batteries for any device, and knowledgeable staff who could help with your electronics projects. Their slogan, "You've got questions, we've got answers," perfectly captured their approach to customer service. As consumer electronics became more integrated and less repairable, RadioShack's core customer base dwindled. The company tried to pivot to cell phone sales but faced intense competition from dedicated carrier stores and big box retailers. After several attempts at rebranding and restructuring, RadioShack filed for bankruptcy in 2015 and again in 2017. While the name still exists as an online brand, the ubiquitous stores that were once in every mall and shopping center are gone. Linens and Things was once a major competitor to Bed Bath & Beyond, offering home textiles, housewares, and decorative items. Founded in 1975, the chain expanded to over 500 stores across the US and Canada. Their stores were known for their wide selection of bedding, bath accessories, and kitchen gadgets, often at competitive prices with their famous coupons. However, Linens and Things struggled to differentiate itself from competitors like Bed Bath & Beyond and Target. In 2006, the company was taken private in a leveraged buyout by Apollo Global Management, which saddled it with significant debt. When the housing market crashed in 2008, demand for home goods plummeted, and Linens and Things couldn't sustain its debt payments. The company liquidated all its stores by the end of 2008. The brand briefly continued as an online-only retailer, but eventually disappeared entirely. CompUSA was one of the first major computer retail chains in the United States. Founded in 1984 as Soft Warehouse, the company rebranded as CompUSA in 1991 and expanded to over 225 stores nationwide. During the PC boom of the 1990s, CompUSA was the destination for computer enthusiasts and businesses alike. Their stores featured wide selections of computers, software, and peripherals, along with technical services and computer training classes. As computers became commoditized and online retailers like Amazon offered lower prices and greater convenience, CompUSA struggled to maintain its market position. The company was purchased by Mexican retail conglomerate Grupo Sanborns in 2000, which attempted several restructurings. By 2007, CompUSA began closing all its retail locations. While the brand briefly continued under Tiger Direct, the CompUSA name eventually disappeared from the retail landscape entirely. Sports Authority was once the largest sporting goods retailer in the United States. Founded in 1987, the chain grew to over 460 stores nationwide. Their massive stores offered everything from athletic apparel and footwear to equipment for virtually every sport. Sports Authority was known for its wide selection and competitive prices, making it a destination for both casual athletes and serious sports enthusiasts. The company's downfall came from a combination of factors. After being purchased by private equity firm Leonard Green and Partners in 2006, Sports Authority struggled with debt and increasing competition from specialized retailers like Dick's Sporting Goods and online competitors. The company failed to invest in its online presence and store experiences, leading to declining sales. Sports Authority filed for bankruptcy in 2016 and liquidated all its stores by the end of that year. KB Toys was once the second largest toy retailer in the United States, behind only Toys R Us. Founded in 1922 as a candy store, KB Toys evolved into a toy retailer that focused on mall locations. At its peak, KB Toys operated over 1,300 stores across the country. What made KB Toys special was its smaller, more navigable stores compared to Toys R Us, and its focus on current trends and hot toys rather than comprehensive selection. The company's troubles began in 2000 when it was acquired by Bain Capital in a leveraged buyout. The debt burden made it difficult for KB Toys to weather industry challenges, and the company filed for bankruptcy in 2004, closing hundreds of stores. After emerging from bankruptcy, KB Toys struggled to compete with big box retailers like Walmart and Target, which were selling toys at deep discounts. KB Toys filed for bankruptcy again in 2008 and liquidated all its remaining stores by February 2009. Sharper Image was the epitome of upscale gadget retailing. Founded in 1977, the chain specialized in unique high-end electronics, gadgets, and gift items that couldn't be found elsewhere. Their stores were showcases for innovative products like massage chairs, air purifiers, and electronic novelties. The Ionic Breeze air purifier became their signature product in the early 2000s. The company's decline began when Consumer Reports published negative reviews of the Ionic Breeze, leading to a failed lawsuit by Sharper Image against the magazine. This controversy, combined with increasing competition from online retailers and specialty stores, led to declining sales. Sharper Image filed for bankruptcy in 2008 and closed all its retail locations. While the brand continues as a licensing company that sells products through other retailers and catalogs, the distinctive stores with their interactive displays are gone forever. Media Play was a unique retail concept that combined entertainment media under one roof. Founded in 1992 by Musicland, Media Play stores sold music, movies, books, video games, and electronics in massive superstores that typically ranged from 45,000 to 55,000 square feet. The stores were divided into departments with names like Media Play Books, Media Play Music, and Media Play Movies, creating a one-stop entertainment shopping experience. The chain expanded rapidly in the 1990s, but began facing challenges as specialized retailers and online competitors emerged in each of its product categories. After Musicland was acquired by Best Buy in 2001, Media Play's focus shifted and many stores were closed. When Musicland was sold again in 2003 to Sun Capital Partners, Media Play continued to struggle. In 2005, all remaining Media Play stores were closed permanently, marking the end of this innovative retail concept. Ames Department Stores was once the fourth largest discount retailer in the United States, behind Walmart, Kmart, and Target. Founded in 1958, Ames focused on serving smaller towns and rural communities that larger chains often overlooked. At its peak, Ames operated over 700 stores across the Northeast, Midwest, and Mid-Atlantic regions. The stores offered clothing, housewares, electronics, and other general merchandise at discount prices. Ames's troubles began in the late 1980s when it acquired the struggling Zayre discount store chain, nearly doubling its size but taking on significant debt. While Ames initially filed for bankruptcy in 1990, it managed to reorganize and continue operations. However, increasing competition from Walmart's expansion into smaller markets and the economic downturn following the September 11 attacks led Ames to file for bankruptcy again in 2002. By October of that year, all Ames stores had closed permanently. Montgomery Ward was one of America's oldest and most iconic retailers. Founded in 1872 as the world's first mail-order business, Montgomery Ward pioneered many retail concepts before expanding into brick-and-mortar stores in the 1920s. At its height, Ward's operated over 500 department stores nationwide and was known for its broad selection of general merchandise, from clothing and home goods to automotive services and appliances. The company began to struggle in the post-World War II era as it failed to adapt to changing suburban shopping patterns. While competitors like Sears successfully followed customers to suburban shopping malls, Montgomery Ward remained focused on downtown locations. After multiple attempts at restructuring and repositioning, including a bankruptcy filing in 1997, Montgomery Ward finally closed all its stores in 2001, ending a 129-year retail legacy. The brand briefly returned as an online-only retailer, but never regained its former prominence. Woolworth's was perhaps the most iconic five-and-dime store in American history. Founded in 1879, F.W. Woolworth Company pioneered the concept of displaying merchandise for customers to handle and select without a clerk's assistance, revolutionary at the time. Their lunch counters became social institutions and were sites of important civil rights protests in the 1960s. At its peak, Woolworths operated over 5,000 stores worldwide. As discount retailers like Walmart and Kmart expanded in the 1970s and 1980s, Woolworths struggled to compete. The company began diversifying into specialty retail, acquiring chains like Foot Locker and Kinney Shoes. In 1997, after years of declining sales, Woolworths closed its remaining department stores in the United States, ending an era in American retail. The parent company renamed itself Venator Group and later Foot Locker Inc., focusing entirely on athletic footwear and apparel. Finally, let's talk about Tower Records, which wasn't just a music store but a cultural institution. Founded in 1960 by Russ Solomon, Tower Records grew from a small section in his father's drugstore to an international chain with over 200 stores. Their massive locations, some spanning tens of thousands of square feet, offered comprehensive selections of music across all genres, along with books, magazines, and videos. Tower Records stores were known for their knowledgeable staff, in-store performances, and midnight release parties for highly anticipated albums. The rise of digital music and file-sharing services like Napster in the late 1990s began to erode Tower's business model. As consumers increasingly downloaded music rather than purchasing physical CDs, Tower's sales declined precipitously. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2004, reorganized, but filed again in 2006. By the end of that year, all Tower record stores in the United States had closed. While the brand continues in Japan under separate ownership, the iconic yellow and red stores that were once gathering places for music lovers are gone from American shopping centers. These 15 retailers represent more than just failed businesses. They're pieces of American cultural history that shaped how generations of people shopped, socialized, and spent their leisure time. Their disappearance reflects broader economic trends, technological disruptions, and changing consumer preferences that continue to reshape retail today. As we look at empty storefronts in malls or shopping centers that once housed these iconic brands, it's worth considering what we've gained and lost in the transition to digital commerce. While online shopping offers convenience and often lower prices, something intangible has been lost. The social experience of shopping, the thrill of discovery, and the personal service that these stores at their best provided. The retail apocalypse continues to claim victims, with more traditional retailers filing for bankruptcy each year. Even as we embrace the convenience of online shopping, perhaps there's value in remembering these once mighty retail chains and the role they played in our communities and personal histories. After all, you can't try on shoes, flip through record bins, or share a moment with a knowledgeable bookseller through a computer screen. What retail stores do you miss the most? Which of these chains holds a special place in your memories? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content exploring the changing landscape of American business and culture.